U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in southern Turkey to meet with American aid officials in the earthquake-hit areas and observe the relief efforts underway. Syrian authorities say at least 5 people were killed and 15 were injured in an Israeli airstrike targeting a residential building in the capital, Damascus.
At the Munich Security Conference, Ukraine repeats its call for more weapons, but outside the venue, protesters call for talks instead of guns.
As the first anniversary of the Russian invasion of Ukraine approaches, Moscow's troops continue to put pressure on Ukrainian forces in the east of the country. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Turkey on Saturday as part of a visit to the earthquake-hit regions. The American diplomat was set to meet with military and humanitarian officials who coordinate American aid to the disaster victims and take stock of the relief efforts underway. 12 days after 2 high-magnitude earthquakes struck northwestern Syria and southern Turkey, the combined death toll has surpassed 45,000. Turkey bore the brunt of the quakes, with official reports saying over 40,000 people were killed and millions were left homeless. 11 provinces in the south of the country were struck by the quakes, with Hatay being one of the worst hit. Deploying more than half the country's deaths from the natural disaster, the mayor of the region said over 80% of the buildings in the city of Antakya would have to be demolished. Yunus Sezer, head of the country's disaster agency, said search and rescue work had ended in all the affected provinces except in Kahramanmaraş and Hatay.
The fact that there are no more cranes or diggers near certain buildings here in Old Antakya means that the search and rescue operation is officially over. There are no more signs of life detected in these particular buildings, and this really seems to be a different phase in the operations here in southern Turkey. Some of the people, some of the residents and business owners in this part of the city are being allowed to come back and check their shops, see if they can find anything still worth taking with them. These are really people trying to pick up the pieces of what is left of their lives. Some 13 million people have been affected by the quakes here in southern Turkey alone, and the Turkish government has promised a new home for everyone that lost their houses within a year. This is, of course, a very ambitious pledge, a pledge that many here dismiss as completely unachievable, considering what they have judged as a slow response on the part of national authorities, so much so that civil society has stepped up and has replaced the national government in certain areas. A massive fundraising event was organized on Turkish TV this week, and over 5 billion euros were raised for the victims.
But some here are determined to restart life on their own as soon as possible.
This street will be in 1 week, maximum 2 weeks open. It will be again, the shops will be open. You will see.
Really?
Now it's 13 days. And every people die with deprem or in traffic or home. But people will die, okay? Catastrophe will finish right now. In Muslim, Islam, you can be in yas, yani İngilizcesine yazın.
Grief.
In grief, you can be in just 3 days. After 3 days, it's forbidden. You have to become in the life again.
Serkan's warmth is already bringing life back to the city, but he's certainly scarred by what he lived and what he lost.
Yani, what can we do?
You told me that you cried inside.
Yeah.
Did you lose anyone?
No.
No.
But I lose my friends.
Yeah.
Good friends, many.
Serkan says it's on behalf of those who are gone that he will not leave Antakya and will try to convince his neighbors to stay too. The city needs them, he says, and the memories of those who died will live on in and through this place. Annelies Borges in Antakya, southern Turkey, for Euronews.
This field clinic has been set up right next to the hospital in Kirikan, a southern Turkish city in one of the provinces most affected by the earthquake. The emergency center was opened by a Belgian medical team to help care for patients after the hospital was badly damaged and could no longer operate at full capacity. Handling over 100 patients a day, they are fully equipped with a laboratory, an X-ray and a pharmacy.
Vandaag hebben we nog mensen gehad die met een breuk toegekomen zijn nog vanuit hoger gelegen dorpen. En ja, die zijn vandaag wat vervoer moeten zoeken, waarschijnlijk transport. Want ze slapen eigenlijk ook in de gewone wagen.
The scale of the disaster is so severe that for many, this field hospital provides them with medical care for the first time since the quake. Extra attention is given to the children.
We hebben vanmorgen veel kinderen gezien die ook uit het tentenkamp komen, van vluchtelingen. Dus die kinderen ja, die hebben veel meegemaakt. Dus we proberen het voor hen zo leuk als mogelijk in een omgeving als dit te maken.
Logistically, it was a feat. All facilities such as the water treatment plant were completed just in time.
Hier is waterzuivering nodig omdat we hier in een aardbevingsgebied zitten. Veel leidingen zijn beschadigd waardoor eigenlijk de zuiverheid van het water in het net niet gegarandeerd kan worden.
The Belgian team is set to stay for 2 weeks. Their goal, they say, is to bring hope and happiness to the victims. Syrian authorities say Israel launched an airstrike on a residential building in the Syrian capital of Damascus, killing at least 5 people and injuring some 15 more. Explosions were heard early Sunday morning, with local media reporting several other buildings were also damaged in the attack. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported 15 people were also killed outside of Damascus in strikes targeting sites linked to Iranian militias and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. There was no immediate statement from Israel on the attack.
At the Munich Security Conference, Ukraine once again insisted what it needs is more weapons to confront Russia. Many countries in the West agree, but Germany says it's also prepared to listen to China's peace program, depending on what kind of peace Beijing is proposing.
If Russia stops fighting, and we hope this is the plea also from China next week when they propose their peace program, call on Russia to stop fighting, because then this war is over. But if Ukraine stops defending itself, and this could be another plea, then Ukraine is over. And we cannot accept this, because then also the Charter of United Nations is over.
Also on the table was the entry of Sweden and Finland into NATO, which is fully supported by the US but blocked by Turkey. But outside the conference, top of the agenda for protesters was negotiations instead of fighting.
As the war in Ukraine approaches its 1-year anniversary, Ukrainian soldiers are pushing back Russian attempts to break through their lines. With the arrival of spring, many believe the fighting could be nearing a critical phase when both sides look to launch offensives. However, for these soldiers, the fighting never let up.
Хочеться поскоріше б, як то кажучи, щоб закінчилась війна, поскоріше їх вигнати з нашої землі, з території.
In the village of Zelin, civilians are waiting for humanitarian aid while the loud sounds of explosions can be heard close by. Near Bakhmut, Russian forces have piled on the pressure on Kyiv's troops. But the Ukrainian line is holding firm, and its soldiers are ready should the conflict escalate. On Saturday, 84 migrants landed in the port of Ravenna after the Italian government gave them permission to disembark. The group had been rescued by the ship Ocean Viking on Tuesday after being spotted floating in a rubber dinghy off the coast of Libya. SOS Méditerranée, the Marseille-based aid organization which operates the ship, said 58 miners were among those rescued. Nearly all the rescuees will stay in the Emilia-Romagna region, while most of the miners will remain in Ravenna. The Mexican government has officially nationalized the exploitation of lithium in the country. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador signed the decree in the town of Baca de Huachi, where the nation's largest deposits of the metal can be found. His goal is to prevent foreign countries such as Russia, China, or the United States from exploiting Mexico's reserves. Lithium has been detected in only 23 countries, with Mexico estimated to have the 10th largest reserve of the mineral in the world. Critical to the development of electric car batteries and other technologies, lithium is mainly mined in South America and Australia, with China dominating the supply chain.
Partly destroyed by the fire in April 2019, the famous Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris is currently being restored. And an exhibition at the capital's Cité de l'Architecture et du Patrimoine in Paris offers a unique opportunity to discover 16 of the statues saved from the flames. The exhibition runs until next April, when the statues will again be on display on the walls of the cathedral. To celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of Lucian Freud, Madrid's Museo Nacional Thyssen-Bornemisza has gathered together a retrospective of some 50 works by the British painter. From the beginning of his career, Freud favoured figurative art, concentrating on representations of the human form. The exhibition Lucian Freud New Perspectives can be seen in Madrid until the 18th of June. Refik Anadol, born in 1985 in Turkey, is one of the world's leading digital artists. An exhibition of his work displaying images generated solely by artificial intelligence is underway at the Aachen Museum in Denmark. Nature Dreams is the main work on display. The huge 7x7 metre sculpture is made from millions of pictures of nature. The exhibition runs until the 27th of August.